Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a few weeks since I posted since I recently had a baby girl in February. I'm excited to get back into posting videos. In this video, I found these adorable bunnies at the Dollar Tree. I was surprised by the nice quality of these. They are very soft and they are weighted down at the bottom to make them be able to stand up. They are 14 inches tall. It does say on these that they are not a toy, they are for decorative purposes only. However, before making this video, my daughter kept trying to steal these out of my craft room to play with them. These are made out of polyester, and I'm going to be adding heat transfer vinyl and infusible ink to them. First, I'm going to go over to my text and grab my font. Also, if you've recently updated your Cricut design space, it'll show up like this for your text now instead of a box that used to show up. And I find this a lot easier. I've used this a couple times now and I actually really like the update. But I'm going to go over to my font and I'm going to choose Laughing and Smiling. I believe I downloaded this from dafont.com, and I'm going to type in Emerson. This is my baby girl's name, so I am going to be personalizing this bunny with her name. I'm going to go back to text, and I am going to drag this down. I'm going to delete this, and I'm just going to type in an E. You can see with this font, it has this gap here. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I tried selecting weld and it still has that gap. So it's gonna cut in there, but I think it'll still look okay. So now what I'm gonna do is change my color. I'm gonna have this be a light pink and this be a darker pink. I measured the bunny with a tape measure and I figured out my width and I decided to do 2.25 for the width. So now what I'm going to do is just bring her name over the E. And I actually like the size that the E is there. It makes it about 1.5 inches for the height. And when I measure my bunny, that is a good size. So now what I'm going to do is go over to Make It. It'll separate it on two different mats because I'm using two different colors. So I'll hit continue. I'm using HTV, so I forgot to mirror it, but I can go back in here and I'll just hit edit and I'll select mirror for both of these. Then I'll come over here and select Everyday Iron On. I'm using Caesar heat transfer vinyl and there is an option for heat transfer vinyl in here, but it does not work for some reason. So I always select Everyday Iron On. And now I will show you how I cut this out on the Cricut machine. I placed the HTV shiny side down on my mat. I also used my brayer tool to press it into the mat. It didn't want to stick down too well, so I added tape along the edge. Then I load this into the Cricut machine and it'll cut out the design. Next, I place the light pink roll of HTV onto my mat and I follow the same process. Once that's done, I weed out my design. I'm using my Cricut Easy Press Mini and I set it to the medium setting. I am also using my Cricut Easy Press mat. You'll want something to press the bunny into. I preheat the bunny first before adding my vinyl. First, I line it up with Emerson's name over the E just to kind of figure out where to center it, and then I remove that. The E wasn't sticking down too well, so I just grabbed some Cricut heat-resistant tape and I added that to the edge just to make sure it didn't shift around at all. Then I grab my Teflon sheet and place it over the bunny. You can use parchment paper as well. Then I'll just run my Cricut Easy Press Mini over the bunny, moving it the whole time for 25 seconds, and you can see I set that timer on my watch. Once that's done, I remove the tape and the carrier sheet, and you'll just want to do this slowly just to make sure that it's stuck down well. Then I add Emerson's name on top and follow the same process. Here's how it looks, and it's just fun to use the Cricut to personalize these. Hide these and grab my next design. I'm just going to go into Images in Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to type in Happy Easter. I'm going to choose this one, then I'll hit Add to Canvas. You can see that this image has 3 layers, and I want it to be just one layer in one color, so what I'm going to do is just select Weld. You can attach it also, either one works. As you can see, it makes it one layer. I am going to be using pink Infusible ink, so I'm going to change the color to pink, which I really don't have to because it's all going to be on one mat. Now I'm just going to size this. I am going to make this 2.25 for the width also. When I measured the bunny, that was about the widest that I wanted it to be, and I just let it autocorrect for the height. So now what I'm going to do is click Make It. I am going to mirror my design with the Infusible ink, and I'll hit Continue. Then I'll choose Infusible ink transfer sheet. This is the Infusible ink transfer sheets that I'm going to be using. I am going to use the light pink one. I place it pattern side up and use my brayer tool to press it into the mat. You just want to be careful with the oils from your fingers that you don't smudge the Infusible ink. Then I load it into the Cricut machine and it'll cut out the design. Here I'm just weeding out the transfer sheet. I've struggled in the past with weeding, and I'm guessing others have too, but what I found helps is having a really sharp blade, so sometimes I will switch out my blade just for Infusible ink. I set my Cricut Easy Press Mini to high for the Infusible ink. I run my lint roller over the bunny just to remove any dirt so that the Infusible ink will adhere well. Then I add my Infusible ink design to the bunny. I add heat resistant tape to all 4 sides. This just makes sure that it doesn't shift around. You don't want it shifting around at all, otherwise it can cause a ghosting effect. Next, I add butcher paper. You'll want butcher paper, not parchment paper. And then I run my Cricut Easy Press Mini over that for 75 seconds. The Infusible ink transfer sheets come with butcher paper, so that is really nice. Once that's done, I remove the transfer sheet. And one thing I don't like about these designs is sometimes it looks like it didn't get heated all the way through, but it's just the pattern from the Infusible ink. So I probably would have chosen a different one, but I still think it looks pretty cute. Now I'm just going to hide this one, and I am going to do my last bunny. I'll go to text, and the font that I'm using is California Sunrise. I'm just going to type in my son's name, Josh. I'm going to be putting the name on the bunny's ear, and I just measured how wide that ear was, and that's actually what I'm going to use for my height, which was about 1 inch. I'm going to be using black HTV, so I'm just going to keep that color the same, and I'll click on Make It. These projects are good to use up your scrap vinyl too. So I'll go over to Mirror, and I'll select that, and I'll hit Continue. Then I'll just select Everyday Iron On. I place my vinyl shiny side down and have the Cricut cut it out. I preheat the bunny ear before adding my vinyl. I place my vinyl down, then I place my Teflon sheet on top and run my Easy Press Mini over that for 25 seconds. When it's done, I remove the carrier sheet. I found these fabric veggies at the Target Bullseye section, and I thought these would be so cute to add to the bunnies. They were $3. I also found these plant markers at the Target Bullseye section for $1 and thought these could be added to the bunnies as well. I also picked up this ribbon from Michael's to add to the bunnies. Here I'm just adding one of the fabric veggies to the bunny. I just used a hot glue gun and it stuck down really well. Now I'm just making a bow tie out of this ribbon, and I just used the hot glue gun again to make the bow tie. Once that's done, I just glue the bow tie onto the bunny. Here's how he looks. I think he looks super cute. I wish I would have done a different color for the vinyl, like a peach color, but other than that, I think he's pretty cute. I grabbed one of my other bunnies and I hot glued another of those vegetables to the bunny. I tied the pink ribbon into a bow and I used my hot glue gun to glue that on top of the bunny's head. I think this one turned out adorable and I think it would just look so cute as decor in my daughter's room. For this bunny, I decided to add one of the Dollar Tree carrots to it on one side, and then I decided to add the Welcome to the Garden sign on the other side. The sign is a little heavy, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it actually worked pretty well. Then I add a carrot bow to the top of the bunny's head. I think this bunny turned out super cute. I just wish I would have used a different infusible ink color and maybe even a different design, but I still think it turned out adorable. Here's how all three bunnies turned out. You can get super creative with these. They are so fun. If you spot them at the Dollar Tree or the $1.25 tree, definitely pick it up. I wish I would have gotten this video out sooner because Easter is so close. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I would love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel.